In this video, I try to tackle some of the more prominent arguments in favor of character bending for adaptations, reboots, and remakes. I also aim to discuss why a lot of people consider race, gender, sexuality, and personality swaps a turn off. Without further ado, Kitewote. The primary argument used in support of race, gender, and sexuality swapping is that immutable traits are not integral to the character. I agree. Why not then leave them as they are? If you truly believed that, you would agree we should leave these traits how they were attributed to each and every character from the source material. If the supporters of these changes truly believed that, they would agree people of all races, creed, gender, and sexuality can see themselves in any character. They don't have to share the same immutable traits. If this is your position, you will agree there is no problem in leaving characters as they are, unless of course you don't believe this, but just spout this opinion when an argument is made against character changes. Redheads in all forms of media are getting race swapped all over the place, putting a dent in the representation argument. As far as minorities go, you will be hard pressed to find a more popular minority than them. Yet this has not stopped studios from consistently paintbrushing the small number of red-headed characters from source materials. For some reason, they are always race swapped into black characters. I remember thinking it was hyperbolic when I first heard about this. That was until the evidence started pouring in. It has gotten to the point where most people have considered any redhead character will inevitably be race swapped when a project featuring them is announced. Let's face it, race bending redheads is discriminatory. Something the proponents of race bending argue against when it has to do with characters that share their immutable traits. They pick and choose when to apply it. Let us use Idris Elba as Heimdall as an example. He is a fantastic actor. Watch him on The Wire, he is fantastic. Regardless, his casting as a Norse god, interpretations have called it the whitest of the gods, is just... The argument that we should be happy we are getting adaptations in the first place and we should thus forgive any and all missteps is insulting. We have not invested time and money into a piece of media because of the brand and the name recognition alone. We are interested in the spirit and story of the world and its characters, not just the aesthetics. Now, I am not saying the stories have to be verbatim. I am saying canon and characterization have to be respected and adhered to. The story can have changes as long as it is in line with what we know about the world and its characters. Furthermore, fans will be delighted and the uninitiated none the wiser even if it was taken verbatim from the books. So that argument is flawed too. Why? Nobody ever says we should listen to and be fine with any song put out by an artist despite the quality. Comic fans have it the worst. Can you imagine investing hundreds of dollars and sometimes even decades into a book, its characters, lore, continuity, and world, then have the story be adapted into something bearing little resemblance to the original story? To then have wider audiences insist you should like it because their character name or book title was slapped to it? I am sure you can. If it hasn't happened to a franchise you love yet, it soon will. Brand names on a project with little of the original spirit is not something fans of any media in any time have taken to. Strapping a cone to a horse does not make it a unicorn. I cannot best tell if there is validity in this argument. I have no industry knowledge and the articles I came across were essentially just puff pieces. What I do know is that the characters in Marvel's Eternals were purposefully race swapped from the source material. This was done before casting even began. So no, character bending isn't done because the actor was the best person for the job. Most of the time anyway. Also, this argument doesn't hold any weight because I know the people who support character bending do not support it. When the truly best person for the role is cast in place of someone who shares immutable traits with them. Scarlett Johansson dropped out of playing a transgender man after backlash from sections of that community. At the right top corner of your screen now is a suggestion for an interview with the comedian Godfrey, who takes offense at British actors taking on American roles, humorously focusing on Idris Elba playing Stringer Bell in HBO's The Wire. They want the best person for the role? I highly doubt that. Looking from the outside in, character bending seems like a primary American thing to do, the go-to move for the vast majority of Hollywood filmmakers. It is frustrating because it doesn't have to be so. You want to put minority communities at the forefront? Go ahead. There are stories waiting to be mined. the vast untapped stories of other cultures. Things Fall Apart, the story of Safari, his journey from Ras to Emperor, the life and times of Wole Soyinka, 1001 Nights in the Chest of a Woman, When the Rainbow Goddess Wept, A Man Called Raven, stories from Griots, the stories of Jakpata and Dahomey. I wrote the script before the recent trailer for The Woman King, based on the Dahomey Amazons, was dropped. The inane name aside, I am looking forward to it. If the argument is the stillness of Western movies and Caucasians who always seem to be at the forefront, branch out and explore other areas. That option has always been available. But like Eric July says, the majority of people who endorse race swaps only see legitimacy in white characters. People who make adaptations seem to think that fans should go along with whatever they say as law. To be fair, a lot of authors and creators do this too. They will retcon a character's personality or traits and expect us, the fans, to simply go along with the new changes because they said so. They forget we have internal dialogue that enlightens readers and fans about a character's personality. Novels are first-person writing. Comic books have thought bubbles. These are windows to the thoughts of most characters on the major events and people in their lives, even their looks and orientation. You can't expect us to forget or pretend to not know who the character we have invested in is. Authors who do this infuriate me the most. As I said in another video, if you consider those of us who care about law, continuity and proper characterization as bigots and phobes, what does that make creators who want to retroactively change character details and personalities to fit a narrative when they could have organically created characters of all genders, race and sexuality at the beginning of their stories, but they did not? After all, they were playing God. They could have created anything they wanted but chose not to. Why? It was not convenient. Follow up coming soon.